Hi and welcome to a new episode of the Crochet Along With Me vlog series. I am Andrea and I am the crochet designer and creator of all the tutorials on the Yarnandy channel and website. And in this vlog, I invite you to pick up your crochet project and join me for 20 to 30 minutes of sharing about whips, finished objects and finished projects, and what's upcoming in the world of crochet and Tunisian crochet, and now even knitting. I like to start these episodes by sharing a comment from the previous vlog. Last month, Donna Loves Yarn said, "I love that chevron cowl, bacon pattern. I didn't see a tutorial, but I'd love to make it. It's coming soon, I promise. That capelet is gorgeous, thank you. I'm a big fan of your designs." Thank you, Donna. I am glad that you like my designs and that old shale or feather and fan pattern is coming up soon, just as I get a chance to write it up and make a video for it. Next up we have the projects that I've been able to finish during this past month. You probably don't know, but I went to my home country for a week this month. There was a lot of traveling involved. I went to visit my family. And so I took this project with me on the road, and this is regular crochet. So if you watched my previous videos, you know that I restarted this twice and now it's finally finished. So it's a vest, but you can also make it like a shawl. And I added some filet details on the edge. And if you want to make yours bigger, you can continue with the filet patterns. There is another section with the diamonds, and then one more section with these U shapes, and then another section with the V shapes, and one more with spirals. So you can make it really long if you want to. And let's show you how it looks worn. It's quite loose and fluffy, so this is more of a summer garment than an autumn one, and you can change the place where the armholes begin, or you can just skip the armholes entirely and just make a big shawl. It's your choice. And I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out after blocking. Before blocking it was much smaller and scrunched up, and I couldn't enjoy the actual look of the fabric, but after blocking you can see that it has great drape and you can see all the details. So I wrote up the pattern and I have to send this sample to Berlin because this was a collaboration with the people of Sparwolle in Berlin. They sent me the yarn and I created this pattern for them on request, and I actually still like it more as a shawl. As you can see, there's a lot of volume and a lot of fabric to cover you comfortably, even if you don't add the armholes. This one used 1500 meters of yarn in a custom gradient cake that they created with 5 different colors, and the color transitions are the kind that I don't like actually. So you get, when you have 3 strands of one color and 1 strand of the other color, then you switch to the next color, and then you have 3 strands of the original, and then the last strand is the new color. I actually like it when you go through all 4 strands of one color and then you start to transition to the next one. But this style of project where you have the chevrons goes well with that kind of transition as well, because you don't have a steep color change. And because you also have a lot of eyelets, you also have a smooth color transition. So I will be playing more in the future with the chevrons and wavy patterns in half circles as well as just rectangles. And this was my first exploration of such a pattern in regular crochet. In Tunisian crochet you saw the one from last month, the wavy one, and I also have a chevron pattern, a project in progress, but I only have a few rows of that, so I don't have much to show you. But there is time, so chevron things are coming up. And these are excellent for using yarns with shorter color changes, so not necessarily such long gradients like this one, but you can also use that type of pattern when it's a rectangle to show off yarns with a shorter gradient. So this is one project that I finished first, and then I concentrated on finishing the featherly capelet. Well, it's more of a shawl than a capelet because the neckline came out quite small. So in the end, when you open it up like this, it looks like a shawl. This is knit, and I used 4mm needles. And this is the knit version of the plumaria capelet in Tunisian crochet. I wanted to offer knitters the option of making one for themselves as well. And it uses the same construction. So you have short rows, you have very long short rows that grow shorter as you get towards the middle of the feather. Then you have one full row, actually two because it's knitting. So you have two long rows, and then you have short rows that get longer. And they create this beautiful wedge shape that you can use to make big half circle shawls. So I would actually recommend that if you want to make this into a proper capelet, that you add a few more feathers. I ended up with 15, and I think that's a good number for just a shawl. That if you want more coverage for the front, for example, 17 feathers should do it. I started this a while ago and the pattern is already tested, even though I just finished the sample. Thank you to Melanie who tested the pattern for me. She's an expert in knitting and Tunisian crochet, and she loves lace. Next month I hope to publish this so that people can make one for themselves for a New Year's party or a concert or anything they want to wear it to. I think I will wear mine to an upcoming concert I'm going to in November. That's it for finished projects. I made these two huge projects and I am very happy that I finished both of them and quite relieved actually. So what I'm working on now is a scarf. I bought some yarn to make a scarf. I have 2 more of these and I want it to be not just checkered. I will use the tail to weave in on the front of all the squares. If I have too much yarn left over, I might make it to 3 squares, but for now I like the width like this for a scarf because I don't really have any scarf patterns, and I know that people right now like to wear scarves, so I think this is a nice match for a winter scarf. The yarn is quite thick. It's a yarn from the local kick shop. It's found all over Europe. It's called Justine. It has 160 meters per 100 grams. It's acrylic, but for scarves I'm happy to use acrylic, no problem. You don't sweat around your neck, so acrylic is fine for scarves. They also don't get washed a lot, so it's also okay. And I found these 2 nice colors. They have a little bit of gold shimmery thread in them, and they have the same chain knit structure like the yarn that I used for the featherly capelet and the plumaria capelet. But this, of course, is just acrylic. This one has wool. So this is my easy whip at the moment. There will be a lot of weaving in ends later on. This is just for when I'm tired. So I will work on this. I will try to finish it up now in November so that you can have a nice scarf pattern to make for gifts, for example, for Christmas. And I have another whip. This is another scarf whip, and this one is a bit narrower. It's more of a party type of project. And the yarn is made up of 2 strands of different colors. and they have a nice transition. It's not a constant transition, so it's not a gradient that you can follow along with. So you have the darker color here and here, but in between it's just random. I steam blocked this bit so it lays flat, but the rest I just worked on it so it's quite rounded. The nice thing about acrylic is that if you steam it, then it lays flat and you don't have to worry about it anymore. I will add some fringe at the end, the twisted crochet kind, so that it will be a cute New Year's Eve style of narrow scarf. It's a bit stiffer than this one, which is much softer and much warmer, so it's more of a show off. But it's nice to use with variegated yarns and other yarns that have a lot of color transitions in them. So I wanted to have the color transitions on a diagonal, which means that the rows are worked on the diagonal. So you have one increase and one decrease on each row after you finish, after you reach your desired width. And this is another one of these projects of working on them when I have no energy for anything more complex. But they work up fast, and hopefully both of these patterns will be up on the blog, so they will be easily found, and hopefully a lot of people will make some cute and fast scarves from these patterns. Of course, this one is much faster to make than this one because this one has a lot of ends to weave in and this one has none. And this is a bit more than half of one ball of yarn, and I have another one, so there will be 200 grams of yarn in total, and hopefully about 2.5 meters of scarf from here. Another whip that you've seen before, the leafy cow with mosaic. I don't remember if I showed you the entire leaves. Well, I worked some on it, but it's not finished because I had to finish other things. It actually goes much faster when you're relaxed and can enjoy the pattern. And the bag that I put this project in is actually made by me. I made this bag on a weekend and sewed it on my sewing machine and by hand. It has a lining, so the fabric, this is cotton that I bought on my trip to Portugal. I wanted to make some souvenirs from that fabric. This is one of them. It has a thicker cotton fabric as backing, so it's flat lined, and on the inside I used some upcycled silk from an old shirt that I have. I have a lot of old silk shirts, and I sewed this by hand. It's a bit smaller than the bag because initially I had planned to make the edge like this, but I like it more with the double part here. And I learned a lot about bag making, like when you put a drawstring in, just make sure that it's easy for the piece to gather, because there are so many layers here at the top. It's not easy for the whole piece to gather. So this will be just a project bag to keep at home, and I have other bags planned where I will include a zipper for closure. But I love this fabric. I have another blue one that I want to use also to make some bags. And yeah, I just wanted to show you that I also sew once in a while. Okay, I have 3 more whips to show you. One of them you already know, we've seen before, but I made progress on it recently. It's the Cardigan in Tunisian crochet, where you start with the same construction as a Tunisian crochet capelet, but instead of making a capelet, you divide for sleeves and body. and I made one sleeve, switching to the orange at around the elbow, a bit lower than the elbow, and I made a mosaic transition. It's not very visible because it's just orange with orange, so it's not that important. I just wanted to not have just a straight transition to the new yarn, because the new yarn is a bit thicker, so it has a slightly different texture. And now there's a transition there, which makes it smoother, easier to go from one fabric to the other. And now I'm working on the second sleeve. I just finished the sock yarn and made the transition using the mosaic, and you can see this one better because there's more contrast between the colors. And I have this much left to finish the body, and then I will be able to add the orange at the bottom of the body as well, and I will make it as long as it comes out. I have 3 more of these lana grossa, lace, silk, and alpaca and merino mix. I would not make an entire project from this yarn because it's very soft and very delicate. So I think that just the cuffs and the bottom will be okay, so it will not pill as much, because here we have soft yarn. Soft yarn is much more resistant to friction. There will be this yarn at the bottom. Initially I wanted to make a top, like a summer top from this yarn, but I don't think that 4 bows would have been enough, because it has 175 meters per 50 grams, so it's a bit thicker than sock yarn. And maybe it would have been a very soft and comfortable summer top, but there's time to buy more in a different color in the future if I really want to make one. It's super soft, it goes so smoothly, so easily, it glides on the hook. At the end here, I don't know if you noticed that I made Tunisian crochet reversible ribbing. So this is not one of the ribbing types that I made a video about. This is a new one, and it uses a reversible pearl knit stitch. I will make a tutorial for the knit stitch and the opposite of the knit stitch, which allows you to create such an elastic cuff. And I love that it goes back, so it's not half elastic like some other styles of ribbing. This is actually elastic, and I love it. And it's super easy to make as well. You don't need to make pearls. It's not complicated like that. It's very fast. It's also worked sideways. I tried to work it continuously like this, like the rest of the project, but the other direction, it doesn't work. So if you want an elastic ribbing, then you want to work sideways like this. So I have one more sleeve to finish with this, and then the body, and I will add the same type of ribbing at the body. Maybe it's too elastic for the bottom of the body, but I don't care. And even with something as soft and drapey as this yarn, that's silk and wool and alpaca, you still have a lot of elasticity, which I love. Okay, so I hope to have this finished in a couple of weeks at most, and then I will write up the pattern, because this will be hopefully pretty easy to make. I found another project. I think I showed you this last year. I don't remember. This is a work in progress sweater. I finished the front, which I had to frog completely and start again, because I initially started with the repeats from here, so they were offset by half a repeat, and then in the middle of the neckline there was a bump like this. Because of the way that the lace is constructed, it has a waviness to it on the edge, as you can see here, like this. So one of these bumps was in the middle of the neckline and I hated that. So I started again, and then at some point I abandoned it, and now I finished it. I did the armhole shaping just like on the back. The back is just simple stitch with the honeycomb edge at the bottom. And then I made simple straps, and the neckline is a bit deeper in the front than in the back, just as it should be, but in the back it's quite deep as well. So when I'm finished with the sleeves, I will add a nice ribbing all around, and I will use the same ribbing that I showed you before, maybe one by one. So one row of Tunisian knit stitches and one row of the reverse of that. And now I have to finish seaming up the sides and to make the sleeves, and the sleeves will be set-in sleeves, so they will not be the straight sleeves that we're used to, just a rectangle. They will have a sleeve cap. That makes it easier for the garment to be worn, and it makes the sleeves more comfortable because there is no bunching here. Like in this example, there will be no more bunching here because there will be a sleeve cap. And yeah, I still need to design that. I don't even know if I have notes for this. If you can see, the armhole is also more shaped than usual. It's not just a straight line and a straight line. There is a slight transition here, and that's, yeah, I hope to finish that next month as well. I have one more work in progress. This is knit. It's a raglan, and I am making the sleeves so that it's easier to make them, so I don't have to carry the whole thing around when I make the sleeves, because I'm making them in the round. So I created this pattern from scratch, and for this I learned how to make short rows so that the neckline in the front is deeper than the neckline in the back, so it's more comfortable. And it's a very cool technique that I will apply also to Tunisian crochet raglans in the future. And actually this is more of a learning project for me, because I'd never made a raglan and I needed to figure it out first. Before I start designing one, I need to learn how to make one. So I started with the short rows, working flat back and forth, and they grow slightly longer as you go, and then you cast on the remaining stitches in the middle, and then you continue working in the round. In Tunisian crochet, I think I would do the same. So you have short rows and then going in the round with 2 yarns, and after that you can start making the body. I cast on one more pattern repeat on each side to make the body, and then I cast on one pattern repeat for the armholes. And when I'm finished, I will seam this hole up, like I saw in a video recently on how to make the transition at the underarm fit better. It fits so well, and I don't understand how I was able to make it fit so well. I will put some photos here with how it fits. First, when I had just a little bit of the yoke, and then after I separated the sleeves and I started working on the body, and I realized that I should make the sleeves first so that they're out of the way when I make the rest of the dress. And I will make it as long as I can with all the yarn that I have. I think I have 800 grams of yarn. This yarn that I bought last year is from Yarn Home on Etsy. I bought it. It has 320 meters per 100 grams, and it's half merino and half Suffolk wool. So it's not super soft, but it is very nice to the touch, and after washing it becomes much softer. So this is what I've been working on for the past month, and this one I started recently because I couldn't do anything else. When I went to Romania, I got some back issues. I don't know exactly what happened, and I'm still feeling that, but it is what it is. So I wasn't able to crochet, and I needed something to do with my hands, so I started that project. Last year I wanted to make some dresses for winter, and of course during the summer I didn't make any, so I had to start now because the winter is coming, and the Tunisian crochet dress that I wanted to have to make with color work on the bottom didn't really work out as I intended, so I will frog and remake that. But first I should finish the other things that I started, like the one cardigan, one sweater, and the dress. So that will probably be my project during December, the color work dress. And I decided to switch it up, so instead of using floats, I will use the in the round technique, where you use one color for the forward pass and one color for the return pass, and that way it should come out nicely. Also, in finished projects, let's call it, I just finished a blog post on my website where you can learn all about Tunisian crochet hooks. I have been working during the past few weeks on updating my website and making the blog easier to navigate, and I started adding some articles which were not yet there. I am now writing an article about the introduction to Tunisian crochet, and I started writing a section about hooks, and that section about hooks turned into a separate article of 4,000 words. But it's full of photos, and I made a list of the hook sets that you can buy online and a comparison between them with I wanted to make an infographic, but there are too many details, so I just left it as a table. And you can visit the different products and see for yourself all the things that I mentioned in the article. I hope that it will be useful to you and other people, if you know people who are wondering what hooks to get for starting Tunisian crochet. I ordered the sets that I found by price, so the cheapest at the top and the most expensive at the bottom, and you can see how the different details change with the price. And I made also some recommendations. I went into detail into the head, neck, and end of the different hooks, cables, connectors, and all that stuff. So I am very proud of that article, and I hope it will serve you well over the years. I will update it if I need to. So that's the latest blog post that I finished, and there are others that I wrote up previously, and I want to write more. It's a long process, but it's very enjoyable to me, and I want my website to be a resource where you can just go and find whatever you need with regards to information about Tunisian crochet. There was a lot of information on the website already, but it wasn't very well organized because I just get an idea, make a tutorial about it, and then just publish it on the website, usually. But now you can find it in that hub. It's called the Tunisian Crochet Resources, and it's linked from the menu on my website. So if you go to yarnandy.com, in the menu you will find a link to this huge resource in Tunisian crochet. And of course I'm still building it. I will want to add a tutorial about advanced mosaic, for example, or tutorials for the various simple and more complex stitches. I want to make a kind of a stitch dictionary with the various stitches. There's a lot that I want to add to the website, and it's the kind of work that I actually enjoy more than just making videos or content for social media. I don't like to make content for social media. And I'm not good at social media, so I will focus on increasing the quality and quantity of articles on the website, because you can find that when you search on Google or another search engine. You can find the website and just hopefully easily access the information that you are looking for. And now I trust that I have enough experience to share a lot of knowledge about this field. During the next 2 months, where people will be working probably on their gifts, I will focus on writing blog posts and adding tutorials. I have a lot of video tutorials that I have to film and or edit. So all of that will be coming in the next 2 months, when most testers will be busy with their own stuff anyway. Oh yeah, also the Fasten Off Yarn Along event is coming. Also the gift along on Ravelry. I will participate in both, like in the previous years, and what that means is that you get a coupon for 25% off of select patterns in the gift along, and I think all of my patterns in the Fasten Off Yarn Along, and you have a few days to use the coupons. And then there's a lot of activity in the different groups where you can share your work in progress using the patterns that you bought during the event. And then if you finish or if you participate, you have a chance to win a lot of prizes. Most of the prizes are patterns from designers, but they also have physical prizes, and it's mostly a fun event where you can join other people who are working on finishing their mostly gifts projects for during November and December. The Fasten Off Yarn Along usually lasts until the new year, and we have a kind of a party, and there's bingo and other stuff. So join if you're interested. I will leave a link in the description to the join the Fasten Off Yarn Along. There's a Discord for that one, and the gift along happens on Ravelry. I will share a link to that as well. If you can't use Ravelry, please join the Fasten Off Yarn Along, because it was created as an alternative to the gift along due to the updates on Ravelry. Let me know in the comments what you've been working on, what you finished, and if you want to join in the Fasten Off Yarn Along or the gift along, so that I can find you in the groups. And hopefully I will see you soon in a new video. Ideally a tutorial will be coming up next. But if I am not able to make any tutorials, then I will see you in the next vlog episode at the end of November. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a wonderful day. Bye!